Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be talking about Pandora. We are on the Pioneer server, so keep in mind the content is subject to change by the time it is officially released. But as of right now we have done testing of Pandora in PvP and even in Dream Realm, and actually she is in the top team for the Dream Realm boss of Sigmund, and this was a team come up with by Frosty. So Pandora is a support hero. She will be a dimensional and she has a range of 5, which is good for a long range hero. She is a magical damage dealer. So beginning off with her ultimate is going to begin with 0 pre-fill energy, panic projection. Pandora's box will hold both calamity and hope, and this is really kind of like the unique things that Pandora offers. She can buff your team, she can provide value, however at the same time she also will nerf your own team and provide debuffs which you don't really want. So it's kind of like you want her advantages to outweigh her disadvantages for her to be a good hero on your team. But the passive, Pandora herself is protected by hope and is not affected by this skill. The active, Pandora will open the box to unleash calamity. This will cause all units on the battlefield to flee in fright toward their own side for 5 seconds and lose this amount of health per 0.5 seconds in the process. And in Dream Realm, this damage is actually applying to the boss. This is going to be kind of a major source of HP per second damage. In fact, it is 50% attack multiplier per 0.5 second, which is 100% attack multiplier every second each time she can cast her ultimate. And when the fright effect wears off, their attack is reduced by 10% for 8 seconds. This attack reduction effect can stack up to 3 times. But the thing is, this is also going to have the same impact on your own team. So you're going to want to have allies who are unaffected. I think the twins can provide unaffected to allies on the Stellar Bond. So really things like that are going to synergize well with Pandora. Bailaran will have good synergy with Pandora because Bailaran can make himself unaffected after he ascends, so then he can be immune kind of to this effect. And the HP loss actually goes up to the 70% every 0.5 seconds, and it is going to last for 5 seconds, so up to 140% every second, lasting for 5 seconds. And she can, I believe, as whenever she can recast her ultimate, she can re-trigger this, and so quite a big amount of damage output here. Now, Box Blessing, this is going to be her skill too. When a battle starts, Pandora pulls the rearmost. Now, this is the really useful effect for PvP specifically. Pandora will pull the rearmost ally into her box, making them invincible. While unable to cast skills, they literally cannot do anything while they're in the box. After 4 seconds, like right when the clock hits 86 seconds, she's going to throw back out that ally and they're going to be released. If Pandora is still alive when that happens, the ally gains 1000 energy as well as up to 50% attack for the next 10 seconds. This is really strong for PvP because if you have her with a Hypercarry Cryonia is going to be spit out of the box at like exactly 86 seconds. She's going to insta-cast her ultimate, and then she's also going to have this massive attack buff of 50% with ultimate skill power. It's going to go up to 70%. Attack buff. So this is really useful for PvP. Even with Shamira kind of suffers because she has kind of low range. She doesn't begin, or she has 300 pre-fill energy, but until Shamira casts her ultimate, she's not really going to be carrying your team. But when you can insta-cause Shamira to cast ultimate after being released from the box, that's really strong. So Pandora has great synergy with Shamira and Cryonia. Those are probably the best 2 hypercarries for her, and she can work with other heroes as well. But definitely this is a very important skill for PvP, making her, honestly in my eyes, kind of like a must-pull PvP specific hero because of this. Now, Tainted Tribute, this is skill 3 passive. This is going to be a 5-second cooldown. Yeah, by the way, the Box Blessing is going to be a one-time use only at the beginning of the battle. It will not cycle anymore. Tainted Tribute 5-second with an initial cooldown of 6 seconds. The passive element is each time Pandora casts her skills, she restores pretty decent amount of health and 90 energy to the ally she released from her box. At the same time, but this says only when she casts her skills, and she doesn't have like her ultimate, and then I guess the initial maybe Box Blessing, although that doesn't really apply much. Then I guess whenever she recasts Tainted Tribute, she's going to be giving this energy and health to the ally she released from her box. At the same time, the box applies Corruption, a permanent debuff that increases damage taken by 10%. So this is where also the use for Dream Realm is coming into play. It's basically like, you know, Rainier is a 25% debuffer, whereas Pandora is a 10% debuffer, so quite a bit less than Rainier. but she also brings pretty decent damage of her own for endless bosses specifically. Anyway, increases damage taken by 10% to both Pandora and one random enemy not yet affected by corruption. Pandora's corruption can stack up to 4 times, while the enemy's corruption does not stack. So this will not stack onto the enemy. So the boss at most is going to have 10% bonus damage received. He will not be able to be corruptible further than that. So that's important. Now the active, Pandora will inflict a random number of unique debuffs on an enemy over the next 10 seconds, prioritizing enemies not already affected by this skill. The number of unique debuffs is equal to Pandora's current corruption stacks. So she's going to stack corruption on herself. The more stacks she has on herself, the more debuffs she's going to be applying to the opponent. These debuffs may include reducing haste by 45, which doesn't really matter for bosses. Reducing energy recovery by 45% doesn't really matter for bosses. Reducing vitality by 45 doesn't matter for bosses. Or causing the affected unit's normal attacks to have a 45% chance to miss doesn't really apply to bosses, because when you're in endless difficulty of bosses, it's not really survival. It's just about damaging the boss as much as possible. So all of these are good for PvP, definitely. However, for boss content, this is kind of like a useless skill, other than the fact that it applies corruption, which is going to boost the damage that the boss takes by 10%. And it will increase HP and energy recovery to 320% of attack multiplier and 120 energy when she casts her skills, which is basically just going to be this Tainted Tribute. This is her major skill, and probably her ultimate would count as that. Okay, now her hero focus is good because it gives her survival. You guys might not already be worried because she applies corruption onto herself, increasing the damage she takes, and that can stack up to 4 times on herself. So eventually she is probably going to die. But the thing is, she has massive HP at the beginning, 24%, an additional 12% after she is corrupted for the first time. That is making her tanky. The other thing is, when you look at her charms, she's also going to have more health, at least for this season charms that she has. She's going to have this shield of 60% health. When she drops below 50% health, then it is again going to trigger, and this also increases her defenses, and she becomes unaffected during that. So that all gives her more survival. Then Eternal Legacy. So this is the exclusive equipment of Pandora. This is also very important. After Pandora is defeated, the box stays on the battlefield. It is indestructible, unaffected, and won't be prioritized as a target. It has an energy cap of 1000 and recovers 70 energy per second, goes up to 85, and finally 100 energy per second. Have full energy. The box is going to unleash the panic projection, as you see here again, but without the HP loss effect. So if you're talking about it for boss content, you can't let her die, because her damage is going to be completely like kind of out of the picture as soon as she dies, because the HP loss effect is only when she is alive, so she needs to be alive. But this is good for PvP, because in PvP she can die, and if you have other heroes which just stall out the fight, she can keep casting her panic projection. This frightens the enemies, and also just has attack lowering effect. All of these are kind of useful for basically just annoying the enemy and further allowing your team to stall better. So she has good synergy with Saida. Saida and Pandora, they have really good synergy because of the delaying the fight. Also for AFK stages, things like that, definitely Pandora is likely going to be pretty useful. Now, level 3, plus 10 exclusive equipment is pretty big. Panic Projection's attack reduction effect on enemies becomes permanent. So on to enemies, it will become permanent and can stack up to 3 times, up to a 30%, I guess, in total attack debuff. But on her own team, it is going to be also a 10% attack debuff if they are frightened, but it will only last for 8 seconds. It will be permanent on the enemies and only last for 8 seconds on her own team. And the box energy recovery up to 100. Now, the Enhanced Force, the Supreme Plus ability, the ally pulled into the box is permanently protected by hope, making them immune to panic projection. This is also very strong. This effect remains even after Pandora is defeated. This is strong because it means that each time panic projection is casted, it is not going to affect the ally who she put in her box at the beginning, whether it be Cryanaya, Shamira, if it's Saida who's going to just try to stall out the opponent. Then each time this panic projection is casted, even after Pandora is dead, and it keeps recasting, Saida would not be basically targeted by this. She will be immune to the effect of it, whoever your carry is who is going to be in the box. So all of this, definitely Pandora to me looks like a very solid PvP support hero, probably one of the best for like ramping up your Hypercarry, because think about it, 86 seconds into a match, you are guaranteed to have an insta ult of whichever Hypercarry you choose. Cryanaya, Shamira, that is super strong. The only way you counter it, the opponent can run Lily May, they can run Dunlinger, otherwise it's pretty much GG, right? So like that is why she is so strong for PvP. Now for Dream Realm, yes, like I said, Frosty showed the proof of concept that she was in the top team for the the Sigmund Dream Realm boss. Now, today in Nocturne Judicator, on the Pioneer server, it is Nocturne Judicator. She hasn't been in the best team yet, but Frosty also believes strongly that she will become the best team for Nocturne Judicator when our levels get higher. However, definitely Pandora will only see use in Dream Realm in endless difficulty of bosses. Other than that, probably not at all useful, because she has HP per second damage. That's basically her only damage source. And like I said, she is going to come with negatives, drawbacks to your team. Each time she casts her ultimate, it frightens your team. It reduces their attack. That is not nice. That doesn't have a lot of synergy with a lot of heroes for Dream Realm, so that's kind of the issue. But basically, if her advantages outweigh her disadvantages, she can be good in Dream Realm. So now guys, to end off the video, I just want to show, like, we can do a little bit of testing. Okay guys, so we're going to go with this team setup. We have Dunlinger, Scarletta, Cryonaya, Damon to further buff up Cryonaya, and then Pandora to give the energy. Now I think I'm going to go for the Cure Lock, because we don't actually need to deny any of the ultimates. We have the Storm as well, and let's go ahead and see what happens. So they do have like the charm advantage here. I don't know if we're gonna have the burst, and generally speaking, this is a problem with Cryonaya. She usually does not have the burst damage to beat these Baleran Mauler comps. Also, they do have the Guardian spell, which is gonna make it even more difficult. But she's gonna charge up. Basically, we're gonna be able to get a recast here. But no, Baleran is gonna like smash me in my face. But this is just basically the proof of concept to show you how quickly a Hypercarry can ultimate. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna use it with Shamira to show you that it will also work very well with Shamira. We can then go ahead and go for a hero like Bonnie. We can go for Bonnie, and yeah, we'll go otherwise the same core and see what happens here. So you're going to see this as soon as Shamir exits the box, she's going to have full energy. She's going to be able to cast her ultimate, and then it will just come down to your Hypercarry being able to deal enough damage to break through the opponent. And here the Taylor is just going to one-shot the Shamira. So basically, this is just the concept around Pandora. And if you want to see some more like sort of like really pay-to-win team comps, so here we go. If you take a look, even the opponent has charms here. Now, Pandora can work well if you have her with, for example, a Stroll type strategy. Like I have her with Saida here. And then what will happen is, basically, because Saida is going to stroll out the match, Pandora is going to eventually die, but then her box is going to keep getting value. So that's kind of the interesting thing. And even right now, Pandora did put the Saida in the box, giving her bonus 50% attack for 10 seconds after releasing her, also giving her the full energy so she can begin cycling ultimates. But of course, everyone's running Dunlinger in these matches. So now Pandora goes down, right? So my Pandora is dead, but her box is still there, and my Saida is still here. So Pandora will work really well in stall strategies, because Saida is just going to stall it off. Eventually, the Pandora is just going to be able to recast her ultimate. I also have Athalia, you know, in this team setup. So like Athalia is also really good with Saida for stall strategies, because even when she's in lance form, she can keep getting value, as you guys can see here. So basically, I have Saida, Athalia, and Pandora all basically working, even though technically the only hero alive is Saida. And here, my opponent, who is on the green side, he has Saida and Athalia. But the Pandora is basically going to outweigh eventually. Keep casting, as you see there, keeps casting that, and then eventually we're going to work them down. So Pandora works also well in these stall type strategies, because even after dying she can get some value, and that's why probably also for AFK stages it can be pretty decent, most likely. But basically, this is Pandora in a nutshell, what you can expect from her. Of course, the showcase we did, we weren't being able to beat Swampy Tough's defense, because first of all, that defense is very, like, it heavily counters nuking comps, like one single Hypercarry comps, because you don't have the damage, and also Athalia can nuke them. But basically, it just shows you what type of Hypercarry comps you can run, and if the opponent has anything that is defeatable by an insta-ult Shamira, basically, you're going to get that done with the Pandora. And also boost the Shamira's attack by 50%. But anyway, guys, that's basically going to be it for the showcase of Pandora. And also, we showed you the basically Dream Realm performance, at least for the Sigmund boss, showing you that she will be somewhat meta for Dream Realm. We don't know how much, though. And honestly, I don't think very meta for Dream Realm. I'm really thinking more of like a PvP type hero. But anyway, guys, you can let me know your thoughts about Pandora in the comment section down below. Are you planning to recruit for her? We're also going to get 2 free copies just from the event and playing through everything. And so I probably recommend just everyone trying to complete her at least to Supreme Plus, but she will be available on the Epic Recruitment Wishlist after you are done with her Dimensional Banner. That is what the customer support have confirmed to us. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this one. If you guys are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And finally, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There's a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me at no extra cost to you. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.